Welcome back to another video. I am Jennifer, the soap artist, and today I am making a soap that combines multiple elements. Embeds, piping, stamping, recycling soap, and a melt and pour infill. So you can see here I am starting with the piping. I made these square embeds using a column mold from Brambleberry, and now I am simply taking a 102 tip and piping what I hope will look like a bow on top of the squares. I'm trying to create basically something that looks like a present. So my ultimate goal was, how could I create a relatively easy way to make presents that I could do in large quantities, because I was making a 10-pound batch here and I wasn't going to extrude presents from my soap dough because it would just be a lot of work and way too much soap dough. So that's how this idea was born. My piping is not perfectly straight, as you can see, and it's not all even in thickness either, but it's pretty close and it's not bad. So overall, I was happy with how they turned out. So the base of the soap was going to be white with a blue and teal speckled recycled soap embeds or shreds. So I wanted the white bows to stand out and not get lost, hence why I started covering them with the teal mica. I wasn't so sure about the color choice. I don't know. I'm still not so sure about it. People loved it, but it just wasn't quite what I had envisioned. But anyways, I took the base and I added the soap shreds, mixed it all together with the stick blender. You can see it's a little bit thick, and now I am simply pouring it into the mold. I place the presents on the side because I want to put a stamp of a tree in the middle. So again, not hard to do or pour the design, just lots of different elements and different steps. So you can see that this took multiple days to make the entire soap. I had no idea what to expect from this, and I have to say I'm relatively surprised and pleased. I had a random red speck in there. Overall with how these turned out. So you saw I made the presents and I piped what was supposed to be the ribbon, and I actually think it does look like a ribbon. And that blue little coating I put along the outside, you do see it does kind of show up. And this white, because it had no fragrance, and this white, because it did, actually is different. So they're not the same. So I'm happy because there's a distinction between them. And then you have the varying blue speckles. So it's not awful. I'm going to stamp a tree in the middle here. I'll do that in 24 hours. I basically will cut the soap, let it sit for a day, and then come back and stamp it. I find I get the best results that way. Right now it's a little too soft, and I find the soap displaces too much sometimes. It can also be sticky, which doesn't make stamping it easy. So yeah, I mean, I'm pleasantly surprised by this cut. So we'll see what the stamp adds to it, how it looks overall, and hopefully it ends up cute and kind of looks like trees and presents under a tree. So okay, and now the stamping part. So I am basically just stamping this into the soap. As you can see, if you don't put enough pressure, you don't get a big enough stamp, and later on you'll see if I put too much pressure, then I can sometimes pull out chunks of soap like I did there. It's a fine line with stamping. Not my favorite thing to do. But I'm going to go through, I'm going to stamp all of these soaps. You can see the tree is going in the center. Presents are underneath. Then I'm going to use some clear melt and pour, which I have colored in green, and I'm going to infill the stamp. Now, I think it's the color combination overall. It wasn't my favorite soap, and again, I really think it's just the colors and how they all came together, but it was really popular. Filling the soap's pretty easy. I melt a small amount of the melt and pour, color it, and then I'm using rubbing alcohol, and I just spritz and use the pipette to infill, and I just keep spritzing. The alcohol lets the melt and pour kind of fill in all of the void areas much easier than if you don't use it. You can see I get some overfill. I'll just take a little tool and clean that up after it's all hardened. But yeah, that's how you do it. Pretty simple.